Yeah, check it out, check it out.
Locked in.
Yeah, check it. Hot damn Black America again. Think of Sandra Bland as I'm staring in the wind. The color of my skin, they comparing it to sin. The darker it gets, the less fair it has been. The hate made, I inherited from them. But I ain't gonna point the finger. We got anointed singers like Nina, Marvin, Billy, Stevie, need to hear them songs. Sometimes to believe me, who freed me? Lincoln a Cadillac, drinking a battle raps, or is it Godspeed that we travel at? Endangered in our own habitat. The guns and dope, man, y'all can have it back. As a matter of fact, we them lab rats. You built the projects for, now you want your hood back. I guess if you could rap, you would express it too. That PTSD, we need professionals. You know what pressure do. It makes the
How you doing, fight fans? EJ Boxing live here, covering another handshake, historical handshake. So we have here, and we have Sam Langford, Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber, and Sam Langford, the Boston Terror, also known as the Boston Tar Baby, and he's got other notable names. We got Boston. What is it? The Boston Strangler? Is it no? The Boston Bone Crusher. You guys maybe looking at the picture thing. Who's this old guy in the picture with Joe Louis? Yo, what's up? What's up? Yeah, what's up, Rob guy? Yeah, come on, stick. yeah. Let's stick the tune on. You guys maybe looking at the picture thinking, who's this old guy? This old guy is one of the greatest fighters that the world will never yet to know. That's how they call him, the greatest fighter nobody knows. That was it. Titled by ESPN and all the sports writers, Bert Sugar and stuff like that. This guy shaking Joe Louis's hands, one of the greatest fighters at multiple different weights that most people didn't throw. Fought the best names in his weight division. Joe Louis obviously knows the longest reigning heavyweight champion of all time, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Knockout power, good looks. At a time when black people was at the time before he wasn't allowed to fight for the title because of Jack Johnson. And the way people didn't like the way he caused all that trouble. So the handshake between the two of them was called the handshake. It was Joe Louis preparing for match smelling, the rematch. And Sam Langford came over, shake his hand and stuff like that. But I always want to know, how would these two, if they fought, what would happen in the fight between the Boston Terror and the Brown Bomber? And so I'll give you a little bit of history on Sam Langford himself. And then he was born. He was born in Canada in the early 20s, and basically he was a fighter that started off at lightweight and went all the way up into heavyweight. And the thing is, when he started at lightweight, he competed against the very best names at the time. At lightweight, Joe Gans. If people don't know who Joe Gans is one of the greatest lightweights of all time. He's basically, if you see footage on Joe Gans, you'll see him using his jab. And basically, at the time when fighters used to just fight, throwing hooks and wild punches, Joe Gans sweet sides, using his jab, right hand, and basically uses his jab as a defense to keep his opponents off. Basically, Joe Gans himself wasn't allowed to beat people until after I think like 7 rounds was written to their contract. And Sam Langford fought him, and it was a pretty good fight. Sam Langford actually. Sam Langford defeated him, but he didn't actually capture the lightweight belt. But everyone knows that, like the belt was in line. Sam Langford would be a lightweight champion. Also, Sam Langford defeated Jersey Joe Walcott, the original Jersey Joe Walcott. The fight went to a draw. Actually, to be fair, but he fought him again. Like I said, he's fighting the very best. Fought in 1903, he fought Joe Gans. In 1904, he fought Joe Walker. These are considered, both of these guys considered the very best in the welterweight division, regardless of height and size. These guys are regarded as the very best, even up to now. Sam Langford and Joe Walcott, the best ever in boxing. The historians will tell you that anytime when they mention the greatest welterweight, Jersey Joe Walcott's name, the greatest lightweight, Joe Gans is one of the greatest of all time. And in 1906, he also had a draw with Jack Johnson. Now, the reason why I say it's a draw, they fought for the colored heavyweight title. We'll consider these days like the WBO, WBA, stuff like, because obviously the main title was held by basically all the white fighters at the time when they wouldn't let black fighters fight. But I consider it like another version of a world title that all the other real champions were fighting for, in my opinion. Anyway, so it was a draw with Jack Johnson. Other newspapers report they had Langford winning, had Johnson winning that, so that fight into a draw. Then after that, in 1910, so the 1910, Langford defeated Stanley Ketchel. Stanley Ketchel, widely even considered the greatest middleweight of all time. The Michigan Assassin actually done one with him against Harry Greb just the other day. So he defeated him. The middleweight belt was on the line. So like I said, he's going from lightweight, welterweight, even heavyweight, and then back down to middleweight at Stanley Ketchel. Then the light heavyweight champion at the time, he defeated Philadelphia Jack O'Brien. I don't think the belt was on the line at the time as well. So again, a shame the belt wasn't on the line, but he defeated him. And Philadelphia Jack O'Brien, one of the first ever light heavyweight champions, actually. And then back down to middleweight against Tiger Flowers. Tiger Flowers, who defeated Harry Greb later on in his career. Sam Langford actually fought him. He fought him, and that fight, he actually KO'd Tiger Flowers. Not for the middleweight title. I think maybe it was for the color title. I'm not too sure, but he defeated and KO'd Tiger Flowers. That's Sam Langford. And so Sam Langford was a formidable multi-weight champion, and he had multiple fights with the likes of Joe Jeanette. 14 times this man fought Joe Jeanette. 14 times with Joe Jeanette, and Harry Wills, he fought him multiple times as well. You know, so he's fighting multiple fighters. I think Wills 18 times. And these are heavyweights, you know. These guys are heavyweights. He's fought these guys. You know, so he's a man's out of his weight class and can compete with heavyweights. So I was thinking, when Joe Lewis says, how would him and Joe Lewis fare? Obviously, Joe Lewis have, I think Joe Lewis have the power and but the speed and quickness, Sam Langford's got it. So let's talk a bit about Joe Lewis. So Joe Lewis, obviously, Joseph Lucius Barrows. I think they came out the Carolinas actually, and then they moved to Michigan, or they moved to Detroit actually. Joe Louis Barrows, or Joey Louis, people call him. Basically, he got one of his managers was Jack Blackburn. Jack Blackburn actually fought Joe Gans back in the days, so that's where they kind of connection there. And remember again, Joe Gans are one of the greatest jabs ever. That's Jack Blackburn as well. Taught Joe Lewis about the jab and to keep those. Joe Lewis got one of the best jabs in boxing, and they at that time, good footwork, hand speed, and he was hand one of the most formidable left hooks you ever seen. Right hand, he had all the weapons as Joe Lewis. Lost to Max Schmeling in a fight where most people thought he should have won. And Joe Lewis, boy, he basically, to me at the time, he seemed like he looked like a Mike Tyson on the res. It's just a formidable, no one ever thought that guy would ever lose to Max Schmeling, but he did. And on the rematch, obviously, this is where he met Sam Langford and handshake, whatever. But one of the greatest lightweights, heavyweights of all time, absolutely. Consecutive, like 25 defenses of the heavyweight title. I mean, that's unprecedented. You know, them time the belts were split, so you had to fight the guys who came in. He had a great fight with the Irish guy. What's the Irish guy's name again now? Billy Conn. Excellent fight with Billy Conn. He was losing on all scorecards and scores a knockout. He goes, but his famous words, you can run, but you can't hide against Billy Conn. And you know what? That fight against Sam Langford could probably be the same kind of fight you have with Joe Lewis. The only thing is Sam Langford, yeah, if you see him fight, what's his name again? Fireman Flynn, right? You see how he very good at holding people off and uppercutting. Use an uppercut and cutting people off. He's very good at strong. There's actually footage of him doing pushing fighters off where he basically guys are trying to bully him. So he had very strong. If you if you ever see Joey Curry, he's a small guy, but he's got the proportions like of someone of a big man. So his fists are very big, solid, good, fairly solid base. And talk about Sam Langford. So I think he would have been very formidable against Joe Lewis. Joe Lewis stands at 6'2". Sam Langford stands at 5'7.5". So already he's at a disadvantage in height. But like I said to you, the knockouts already, the the knockouts for in his career, Sam Langford's career. How many knockouts he got? He's got 128 knockouts to Joe Lewis's 52 knockouts. So in experience fighting this, I think, boy, you know what? You say Sam Langford might be the underdog, but I can guarantee you, I don't think he would much be an underdog. But we've got people in the chat. We'll see people in the chat. So it would be a very good fight. What will people in the chat saying? Okay. Yeah, Jack Blackburn sparred with Jack Johnson. Yeah, he did. Yeah, exactly. He sparred with Jack Johnson. Johnson blooded his nose. Blackburn, yeah, he did. Yeah. Jack Blackburn at the time fought with all the greats at the time. He fought all of them. And the handshake at the time, I always kind of thought, well, who would win at these two? Be a great fight. And you're talking about a guy, like I said, one of the greatest fighters no one's ever known. But boy, people do know him now. Sam Langford, the Boston Terror, or the Boston Tarberry, the Boston Bone Crusher. Joe Lewis knows his greatness, man. Sam Langford, look, you can see by the hands how big his hands is. Look, his hands are kind of dwarf Joe Lewis's in the picture right here. Look how big his hands are for a man of that height. That shows you alone, yeah. This man, when he throws punches at you with his speed, can cause some serious damage. If you can hold your own against Jack Johnson, right, in a fight, bro, you know you can do pretty well. Stan Ketchel, all them guys, they're the greatest fighters at the time. So Joe Lewis would have his handful if he went against Sam Langford. And many people, I'm sure many people here on the YTBC will probably pick Sam Langford to beat Joe Lewis. But I tell you what, in their prime of prime, there's no easy walk, you know. Like if it's fifth, back in the days, they used to like 40 rounds, different times and stuff like that. But I don't think it'd be easy for any of them to. But they'd probably have a couple of rematches. But it would have been a great fight. Joe Lewis against him. The common opponents. There's no real common opponents. I know Jack, when Sam Langford was old, Jack Dempsey was looking for an opponent, and Sam Langford approached the Jack Dempsey's team. Jack Kernan said, "Yeah, I'd fight." And they said, "We're looking for someone easy." That shows you our greatness of Joe Lewis, Sam Langford, how great he was, man. That the fact that they even turned him down, they still wouldn't give him a shot, even then he was old and blind him with one eye, actually. Blind him in one eye. Joe Lewis himself, great fighter, hand, punch. You know, it would have been a great fight. It was a EJ, I think you could bust Sam Langford up with, bust him easy, yeah? You think so? But let me say, you need to go watch against Fireman Flynn. Fireman Flynn's a big guy, you know. You need to watch some footage on Sam Langford and how he dealt with heavyweights, man. The thing about it is Sam Langford, if he's hard to hit and quick, and he's got hand speed, and he can knock you out. Right? If he hits you with some real shot, can real hurt you. Joe Lewis have trouble. Joe Lewis has struggled with people like Tony Two-Tongue Galotto, who put hands on him and dropped him. And hey, I'm not gonna lie, Joe Lewis might get dropped up, he come up, but Sam Langford have to deal with Joe Lewis's devastating left hook and his right hand, man, and his jab as well. So you know what I mean? It'd be a very, very good fight, very close fight if there was ever to fight, man. The way the styles would have blended beautifully, you know, because Joe Lewis would have to try and land punches on the nifty, quick Sam Langford, like when he went against what's his name again? The Irish guy. Not Tommy Farr. What's his name again? It'll come to me. Billy Conn. There you go. Billy Conn. It'd be kind of that kind of fight, you know, using his foot speed. But Sam Langford is a bit more aggressive than that, you know. He's more aggressive, knows how to parry him shots very well. And listen, it wouldn't be an easy fight, man. The only way I can describe him, because of that height, is like a Kawi. But he didn't fight like Kawi. He's more a boxer puncher, you know, boxer puncher quick, you know. So that's the way I describe it for. So that's my breakdown of it. The great Joe Lewis against Sam Langford. Sam Langford, a great Hall of Famer, one of the greatest fighters nobody ever knew. Multiple weight champion. Just a shame that he didn't get some of the belts, but he fought all the very best at the time. Joe Lewis, 25 defense of the belt, fought who's who back in the day. You know, just that alone, you know, two of the basically great fighters. Who do you think would win? Fireman Flynn was dirty. Yeah, exactly. Fireman Flynn was dirty. He was dirty, but you see where Sam Langford dealt with him. He knocked him out as well, and they heard he knocked him out all into the next day. He knocked him out because he comes in with his head. You see him against Jack Johnson coming in with his dirty headbutting. It's a dirty fight. Yeah, when he came in his head against Sam Langford, Sam Langford uppercutted him. So he really headbutted him. Remember, he's a smaller guy as well. So, you know, Jack Johnson was a much taller guy. So he came in and uppercutted him, carved him up. You know what I mean? So Joe Louis himself would be jabbing, but I think he'd just be a tad bit slower. That's all it is, a tad bit slower. But the power for power, they can match each other. You know, so whoever lands first, they'll be on the canvas, I think. And boy, we'll have to see. But Sam Langford got a good chin as well. So, you know what I mean? He got a good chin as well. So, get me. In a 15 fight, it could be a draw and they could fight again. But I just like the idea of the handshake of the man that shook the hand of greatness. Joe Louis knew when he shook this man's hand, it was greatness. And I always thought if they fought, it would be a great fight. So that's my prediction and breakdown. Sam Langford, the Boston Terror, Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber. Who do you like winning and why? I can see in the comment section people leaving comments, man. Thank you guys for coming over. So yeah, we're going to continue this handshake thing. Check out my previous one with Harry Greb and Stanley Ketchel. And yeah, keep you guys tuned, man. We keep going about this historical stuff here on YouTube. And oh, let me see. Oh, the sounds all right. 1 minute. Stanley Ketchel. And yeah, keep you guys tuned. Oh man, the sound's a bit iffy. But I guess it's not as bad as it was before. So yeah, I'll keep you guys tuned and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for coming over. Peace.